Hey everyone, I'm Matt Dolan with Dolan Divorce Lawyers, and today I'm going to talk about the real estate provision of a divorce agreement and what that should look like. So getting right into it, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you kind of a lot of the sample language that you're going to want to use in a divorce agreement. So a couple of different scenarios. The first is going to be if one party is keeping a particular property. In this example, we're saying the wife keeps the property. So you're going to want to say that the wife shall retain the property located at blank, and you insert the address, free from any claim by the husband. The husband shall quitclaim the marital home to the wife on the date of dissolution. Or, usually you're going to want to put that the property is transferred to the wife on the date of dissolution, or it can be some later date if you have a particular reason for transferring the property on a later date. And then you're going to need a time frame for the person who's retaining the property to refinance the property in order to remove the other from the mortgage. This is assuming that the mortgage is in both parties' names, or sometimes it could be in the name of the person who is not retaining the property, in which case a refinance would be necessary. So this says within 1 year following the date of divorce, or that can be a different time frame. It doesn't have to be a year. But within 1 year, in this example, following the date of divorce, the wife shall assume or refinance the mortgage in order to remove the husband from the mortgage. And then if she's not able to do that, you're going to need some mechanism of how that is dealt with. So the norm is to say if the wife is unable to remove the husband from the mortgage, or if the wife becomes more than 60 days past due on the mortgage, the property shall be sold and the wife shall retain 100% of the proceeds from the sale. So basically, this allows for there to be, contingency of what happens if the person who's retaining the property can't remove the other from the mortgage, which is normally that the property is sold. Or obviously, if they become late on the mortgage payments, you want to mitigate the damage to the credit of the person who is not keeping the property. So you're going to want the property to be sold at that point if the person who's retaining it is past due on the mortgage. So that's when one party is keeping a property. Now, sometimes you'll sell the property where nobody's keeping it, and we've got some sample language for that scenario as well, which is that the property located at so-and-so address shall be listed for sale with a mutually agreed upon realtor within 30 days of the date of dissolution. Obviously, you can change that time frame. The party shall adhere to the recommendations of the realtor with regard to the listing price and preparation and maintenance of the house for sale. The party shall also adhere to the recommendations of the realtor as to reductions in listing price, which shall be reviewed every 30 days based upon market conditions. The party shall be required to accept any bona fide offer within 5% of the then current listing price. So a lot of this language about having to follow the advice of the realtor, that's really in place to deal with the scenario of one of the parties kind of dragging their feet. Maybe they don't want to move, they don't want to move because the other person is paying all the expenses in the house, and it's going to be less beneficial to them financially once the house is sold. Or there's all sorts of reasons why one party may drag their feet. So you're normally going to want built-in language that deals with that, so that the ability for one party to drag their feet is limited. Then you need to deal with how the sale proceeds are going to be distributed. So in the event of sale, any mortgages, taxes, liens, real estate commissions, and other usual closing costs shall be paid first. And then the net proceeds shall be divided equally. Obviously, you can adjust that, it could be 60-40, it can be whatever percentages you want. And then, if a property doesn't have a lot of equity, where there may be a deficiency, you're going to want to deal with that also. So here we put, if there's any deficiency or amount owed after the sale of the house, the party shall be equally responsible for the deficiency. And obviously you can adjust those percentages. It doesn't have to be a 50-50 split. So that's kind of the standard language on one party keeping a property or a property being sold. If the property is not being sold, you're going to want some exclusive use language if one of the parties is going to keep the property. So kind of the standard is the wife shall have exclusive use of the marital home beginning 30 days following the date of dissolution. Obviously, you can change that time frame. And, by having this language in there, it's, it makes sure the other party gets out of the property and you don't have to deal with evicting them if they refuse to leave. You can get them out through the family court. You also want to make sure you deal with how the expenses are paid on a property after the divorce is over. So there's a couple different scenarios on, the expense payment language if the property is being sold versus the expense language if one party is keeping the property. So the standard language, if a property is being sold, is the following: until the closing of the home, the husband shall be responsible for 50% and the wife shall be responsible for 50% of the usual and ordinary costs associated with the home, including but not limited to mortgages, taxes, insurance, utilities, cable, lawn care, snow plowing, trash removal, and regular/routine maintenance expenses associated with the home. Obviously, you can adjust these percentages, but you just want to make sure you're, have orders in place for who pays the bills after the divorce is over and, until the property sells. And then it's normal to say that any mutually agreed upon repairs or upgrades necessary to ready the house for sale shall be equally divided by the parties and must be in writing. And then again, you can adjust those percentages. And then usually if one party is keeping the house, they're responsible for the costs of the property. So the standard language is the wife shall be solely responsible for all expenses associated with the marital home and shall hold the husband harmless from any existing or future liabilities. So that's the standard on how expenses are dealt with. Again, you want to make sure you put that in there so that there's no confusion as to who is paying what bill after the divorce is over. And then you definitely want to, in almost all scenarios, put in language that says the court shall retain jurisdiction over the refinance or sale of the home. And that way, if there are any issues where, the person who's supposed to refinance the home, they're not doing it, they're not following, basically, if they're not following the orders that are laid out in the agreement, by having the court retain jurisdiction, you can go back to the family court and file a motion for contempt saying they're not following the order as they're supposed to be, and then the family court will take action. If you don't have this language, you could be put in a scenario where you have to sue them separately, in housing court or file a civil action, which is considerably more difficult and annoying. So you want to make sure that you have this language in about retaining jurisdiction over the home. So those are pretty much the basics on the real estate language that you need in a divorce agreement.